Atlanta Falcons are next up in our deep dive into the NFC South. The Falcons last year 7-10. Their passing leader was Matt Ryan, 3,968 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He was the QB 20. Now he collects his mail in Indianapolis. The rushing leader, Cordero Patterson, one of the big surprises of the fantasy season, 618 yards on the ground, 6 rushing touchdowns. RB9 because he also caught the football quite a bit for the Falcons. Your receiving leader, Kyle Pitts, 68 catches, 1,026 yards, just the one receiving touchdown, but still I think was an excellent rookie season for him. He finishes as the tight end 6, which means it is now time for Going Strong, presented by Castrol Edge. We know that Kyle Pitts is going to be excellent this year. We're drafting him as such. You have built your whole motto around Kyle Pitts in the 3rd round, no matter what. Channeling your inner Sonny Weaver Jr. for that. But Cordero Patterson, last year, as I mentioned, he was a top 10 running back. And yes, I know he faded down the stretch. We have seen his ADP really plummet this year. Like, no one's talking about CP. He's being drafted as sort of a, well, depending on where you look, I've seen him some places as a running back. I've seen him some places as a wide receiver. Either way, he is well down the list of guys to be drafted in a situation where I don't know if there's a ton of competition. I know Tyler Algier is there, but he's still the lead guy. What is your expectation for Cordero Patterson this year?
I think he'll be the best running back here for fantasy purposes, but I haven't really been targeting him because of 2 things. One, I just think last year was an outlier season for him, and it's going to be tough to reproduce that, especially since we saw him fading down the stretch when they tried to use him more as a traditional running back. I think the best role for him is that Swiss Army knife like he was in the first half of the season. But also, Matt Ryan was a quarterback who every year it's him or Tom Brady throws the most passes to a running back. I don't think Marcus Mariota is going to be that style of quarterback. So while I think Patterson is a good value, I find myself liking other guys who go in that area more.
I think that's where I've fallen on it because I don't think I've drafted Cordero Patterson at all this draft season, because when it's to the spot on the board where I'd be comfortable taking him, there are always other players that I like more this year. I will say, I know he's been the king of finessing his preseason, right? Where like he plays, but he doesn't play. Like he'll play a snap, usually line up at wide receiver, run a route, and then he'll call it a day, which honestly, if you're going to play in the preseason, that seems to be the way to go about it. Yeah, I don't love what his potential is going to be this year. And I've always said about Duke Johnson is a good running back on a team with better running backs. He's always been a good receiver on a team with better receivers. Cordero Patterson has proven to be a decent running back on a team that doesn't really have any. He's an okay receiver on a team that has better receivers. So I don't know what his true role is going to be. If they love him as a Swiss Army knife, that's great for them. I don't know that it's great for us. I think he's a depth add at running back, but I think what we saw last year, as you mentioned, kind of a lightning in a bottle season, and I don't know that he repeats that.
It'll be tough.
It'll be tough. I mean, his character arc was a guy who's a great kick returner who somehow late in life kind of fell into a role. They used him out of necessity. I mean, Mike Davis wasn't producing, got banged up. They put Cordero Patterson in, and it took off. I don't know that they can do that again.
Remember for like weeks, we were like, "What? This isn't gonna last."
This isn't gonna last.
And then eventually, we were like, "All right, this is just a thing now.
Let's just ride the wave until we can't ride it anymore." So, I wrote this next question, and like I said, you and I were in a draft last night, and I feel like the way you drafted sort of answered the question for me. The question is, will Marcus Mariota be the starter all season? But then I noticed that last night you drafted Mariota, and then a few rounds later, you sort of hedged your bet by drafting Desmond Ritter. So I think I know the answer to your question.
The answer, will he be the starter all year? I don't think so. But I think for however long he is the starter, he will be a value in fantasy because he can run. He hasn't looked awful as a passer this preseason either. Granted, that 50-yard Kyle Pitts catch should have been an 80-yard touchdown if Mariota was more on the money with it. But then Desmond Ritter has looked really good as the backup, and I think the Falcons are a team that is going to be in contention to get the first overall pick this year. So I think they're going to want to know what they have in Desmond Ritter, or maybe showcase him if you could try to trade him, something like that. But he's played well in preseason, and I think like in a super flex like we were in last night, I had a week. My quarterback 2 is Daniel Jones, so I was like, I need a backup. I'll hedge with Mariota and Ritter because I think both of them will be better fantasy assets than they get credit for because they'll have to throw a lot, they're trailing, and they can both run.
I think that part about them throwing a lot is sort of key because I would imagine the passing volume is going to be high, in part because they will be trailing, in part because they don't really have a true workhorse running back, right? I mean, they don't have a Nick Chubb to turn around and hand the ball off to 20 to 25 times and just let him grind down defenses. Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier, neither one of them are that kind of guy. So I think that means you're going to see Mariota or Ritter, whomever it is, throw the football a lot. So maybe there is something sneaky about Mariota's overall fantasy value, but it will be interesting to see whether or not he keeps this gig all year long. Sort of along those lines, I mean, I drafted Kenny Pickett as my third quarterback in that league.
Smart. I think he could start week 1.
Right. I mean, like, I feel like at some point Kenny Pickett's going to be the starter. Maybe it is week 1, but I was sort of, just kind of doubling down on the idea that Mitch Trubisky's not going to hold that job all year long either.
and with Mariota, it would not be the first time that Arthur Smith has benched him.
That is true. We keep coming back to that. He was in an Arthur Smith system, and he lost his gig before. Maybe lightning strikes twice. Who knows? All right. So in Atlanta, who is the first player drafted? Who is the sleeper? And who is the player to avoid?
First player drafted is Kyle Pitts, 3rd round, no matter what. We already know that. The sleeper, we already spoke about the quarterbacks, and I don't know if Drake London qualifies as a sleeper, who is someone I know both of us like. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Tyler Algier. I'll go with him. He went from being the 8th string running back in the first week of the preseason, but Monday night, he was in with the ones, and what I liked most is they used him near the goal line, like inside the 10-yard line. He was the running back they were bringing in, so I think he's a sleeper. Player to avoid, it's hard on this team because is there really anyone that's going high after London and Pitts? And I'm in on both of them, so I mean, I guess it would be Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, I've got Kyle Pitts obviously as the first guy off the board. That's an easy call there. I'm gonna stick with Drake London as a sleeper mostly because I just want to talk him up. And maybe I should. Maybe I should let his ADP lie where it is so I can keep trying to draft him in different spots. I don't understand why there hasn't been more excitement about him in an offense that's going to throw the ball a lot, that doesn't have a ton of pass catchers. I mean, Kyle Pitts is going to be great. He's going to get 120, 130 targets. They can't all go his direction. They got to go somewhere else. And I think Drake London's going to be the recipient of that. So maybe he's not a sleeper in the way we think of it, but draft Drake London, people. I'm telling you, draft Drake London. Thank me later. I'm not just being a USC homer, I promise you. Player to avoid, I don't know. It could be anybody, man. Like it's like you said. Look, you're drafting Pitts, you're drafting London, people are drafting Patterson. Maybe you're taking a dart throw at Mariota. Beyond that, there's no Falcons there that you want. Nope. I mean, I don't know. Olamide Zaccheaus.
Brian Edwards, this could be the year.
Brian Edwards. Yeah, you know what? I let go of the rope with Brian Edwards. I really tried with him that rookie season in Vegas with the Raiders, and it never happened. I wash my hands of Brian Edwards at this point. Too bad.